Hi, I'm George Levy for Bitsonline, where cryptocurrency and technology media meet the future. I'm at the North American Bitcoin Conference, and I have the opportunity now to talk to Benjamin Ullrich, CEO and founder of Data for XYZ. And we were having a very amenable conversation about the history and the progression of how this event has gone. You've been here for multiple years, and I wanted to get your take of this event, which has over 4,000 people this year, and how that has evolved over the years. So tell me more.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting change. I didn't actually make it to the one last year, but I did the few before that, and you see a real specific progression of the type of people that are here. And it's not like the people that used to be here have left, it's just, there's a lot more people. So back when the whole energy is just different. Back when we were doing it in 2013, 2014, all those years, there was a very, very heavy nerdy vibe. Everybody was,
And it's different now?
Well, there's still the nerdy vibe, but now there's a lot more money to it, right? You have the investors,
and a lot of Lamborghinis,
right? Exactly. You have the investors and the traders and whatnot. But back then, it was just libertarians and nerds. That was the entire community. So for me, and I'm just doing the old man, things used to be better type thing. For me, I enjoyed that a lot more. It was my type of energy. They were my type of people. It was a lot more close knit community. Everybody knew each other, and now, I'm not saying this isn't great. Obviously, this is the progression, of the community as a whole, and not just the events. Obviously, they're getting bigger along with the community. So I'm excited to see it, but for me, previous years, I just felt more connected with the groups, the community. I felt more at home, I guess.
So I would think, the most logical thing, I guess, would Bitcoin be going more mainstream? Is that what it is? But along with the Bitcoin, there's a lot of focus on ICOs here.
Right.
So now, several years ago, 2013, 2014, that was not the game at all, because it was strictly Bitcoin, no?
Sure.
How is that?
There was the altcoins, right? There were still hundreds and hundreds of altcoins, and ICOs versus altcoins are, fairly similar thing. People were saying, we're going to create this altcoin for this purpose, and then they would sell that altcoin so that they could get money to raise, it was an ICO. People just didn't call it back then. But honestly, now, everybody's trying to get into this space, and for good or for bad, when you have a large, mass adoption, you bring in a lot of people that aren't as passionate, right? They don't, they're just here to raise money or to make money or that kind of thing, which, like I said, it's probably necessary. It's probably the natural progression, especially towards mass adoption, but it is a significant change in the way the community was organized. I started back in 2013. I started the Denver Bitcoin meetups and the Denver Bitcoin Center later, and even then I saw the progression. In early or late 2015, I saw the progression where I had more and more investment bankers, actual banking conferences asking me to come and speak and teach their bankers and so on and so forth about Bitcoin. So this has been a long time coming, and the ICOs, people like to think they're new. They're not really that new. And obviously there's a lot of garbage out there, but there's a lot of great stuff too. There's a lot of amazing projects. If I can, real quick, I'd like to plug Guardium, which is, I don't know if you guys have talked to him yet, but he's doing an emergency service, an Uber of emergency services, which, maybe not in the US where we have a decent emergency service, people complain about it, but compared to the rest of the world, the US has a really good emergency service system. So you might think, why would we need that? But Guardium is really going to focus on third world countries and second world countries that don't have this availability. So allowing people to offer up, I know CPR, I have a gun, these kind of things that, so when I press a button on my phone, I can actually get help. Regardless, in Mexico, where I live, it takes 30 minutes to get an ambulance, at least, and that's on a good day. You know what I mean?
You live in Mexico?
I have, off and on for the last couple of years.
Interesting. Ciudad Mexico?
Yeah.
DF.
Now I'm moving to there, but the past has mostly been Playa del Carmen and Cancun.
So let me ask you a question. So Guardium is called?
Guardium, I believe.
Guardium runs, it's actually on the Ethereum blockchain?
I'm not totally sure on all the technical specifications. He's already done his release, and you can find a lot of information online. for me, I don't worry too much. The technology, I'm a nerd, I'm a developer, right? I can understand the technology, I can look in and audit the code if I want to. I'm not great at it, but I can. For me though, it's really about the founders and the people behind it. If you have just a bunch of big investors or people looking to start a project to make money, those are the projects that I just don't really care about. Even if they're trying to do good things, I'm not super interested in it because they don't have that energy. They don't have the excitement of creating something new and building a new network. And Michael, the founder of Guardium, he's really excited and he's truly dedicated and interested in improving the world, and he's not taking a lot of big money that's going to restrict him from doing what he needs to do in the future. And so that excites me, regardless of whether the technology comes and goes and changes as things, the world changes around it. So
let me ask you a question. So your focus with Data for XYZ, I understand that's an umbrella company, you have other organizations. There's different focus areas. Yeah. Are they all in the cryptocurrency space? So tell me more.
I diversify and I do some stuff insurance, and I've been doing real estate websites and different things for years.
In the blockchain space specifically, what areas are you focusing on?
For me, it's the kind of the same thing like I said with Guardium. Think projects where people are excited to change the world, right? So my ICO services is notbitcoin.com, and we really focus on finding ICOs, finding companies, finding founders that want to change the world in a significant way using blockchain technology. For me, if you're thinking of blockchain as Bitcoin, you're thinking way, way too small. Blockchain is huge. It's going to change everything we do, from our phones, like credit card payment. People don't understand. It's going to change everything in their life, and they're probably not going to notice at all, right? Banks are going to start using it in the background, but the customer is still just going to bank online. You're still going to pay with your phone at the terminal. You're not going to notice that now they're getting their money instantly instead of waiting 3 days, 7 days. So my focus is on companies that really want to improve the world, improve existing systems with blockchain technology, which takes out the middleman, stops trust, because there's all these good old boy networks, right? And the supply chain industry is a big issue where, I work with him because I've known him for years. For good or bad, it doesn't matter if he charges me extra. To have my product show up is way more important than saving a little bit of money. So blockchain takes out the necessity to have that good old boys network, which allows the world to take money away from middlemen, which if they're needed, fine, great. Middlemen are needed at some points, great, use them. But when they're no longer needed, that frees up a lot of money to do
additional
everything else.
Sure. There's expansions for
so
that.
Any project, I'm excited about any of those projects that really are trying to improve the world with trustless systems is just one aspect of the blockchain, but it's the most exciting for me.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I wish you much success
thanks so
with
much
that,
for
and let's
having
see.
me on.
Hopefully, you'll be here next year.
I'm planning on it. Yeah,
what do you think? Bigger, smaller, different?
Oh
varied?
Man, I don't know. It's going to be bigger for sure. I think. I mean, I don't know how any conference is going to be able to say they're a big conference now with because a few years ago it was 100 people or a couple hundred people, right? Now we have 5,000. People.
So let's see where we take it. What venue will be able to handle it, right?
Man, and this place was pretty close to capacity, right?
Capacity,
so
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
There was just a couple more rooms they didn't take over downstairs, but the large majority of this giant building was taken over by Bitcoin nerds. And you get in an Uber, and they're like, oh, you must be here for the Bitcoin conference, because they've already picked up I don't know how many dozens of people. So
that's fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Benjamin. I really appreciate the opportunity to speak
so
with
much.
you.
Yeah,
and
it was my pleasure.
For Bitsonline, where cryptocurrency and technology media meet the future, I'm George Levy. Thank you for watching.